me.
We got some more.
This winter,
Again.
4 astronauts will journey further from Earth than any human in 50 years to a destination every one of us can see in the night sky.
Got all tools.
It's the result of a decade of work
Any
and
man with
thousands of
need.
engineers from every state in America and nations
Definitely
around
got
the
that
world.
flamethrower.
Only when it's Apollo 8 before,
Only when it's
Artemis 2 will
convenient.
pave the way for our next step.
You know, pushing ourselves to explore is just
Sounds like
who we
golf.
are. It's a part of being a human. That's our nature.
the
We
most
go out there and we explore to
thrown-ass
learn
game
about where we are, why
in the
we
history
are,
of man.
understanding the big questions about our place in the universe. The exploration we're doing is the first few steps on the path of getting humans to Mars.
Golf. Win.
When I look at the Artemis 2 crew, they want to go do this mission. They are keenly driven.
Swing too hard. Squeeze too hard. Load up.
The Artemis campaign and missions have such an ambitious goal for humanity. Not just one nation is inspired and moved by this, but nations from around the globe are coming together. Artemis 2 is a huge mission, but I hope we will look back and realize that this was one tiny step in humans on Mars and sustained presence on our Earth.
This winter, after 50
We
years,
just have an issue with
we
water.
return
That's the
to
issue.
the moon.
Anymore?
Artemis 2,
Never had.
launching in winter
It's live.
2026.
Okay. They spent, first off, they spent $400 billion.
Watching the cinematic
spent
trailer for the Artemis 2
$400 billion a
launch.
year.
We are so excited. We're hoping to be there to be able to watch it in person. I know
Area
with many of you as well. If you like this cinematic experience, be sure to check out our other videos that we've done, including cinematic launches of the Artemis 1 launch back in 2022. And if you
every
want to learn
country
more about
probably has an
Artemis
Area
2, the
51.
mission,
Then
the
NASA.
SLS, the vehicle they're going to be launching on, or just the Artemis program in general, we have videos on all that stuff. So you can check that out right here. If you like this kind of content, be sure to like and subscribe to Digital Astronaut. Keep exploring with us.
Loose lip sink ships like
They probably only have, they only have what the Americans would consider the equivalent.
what is Russia's Area 51?
During the Beauty Rest President's Day sale at
Russia's
Kohl's,
equivalent to Area
save up to
51 are
$1,000
Acoustic
on
Yarn,
select
a
Beauty
missile
Rest
testing
black
site,
adjustable
and the
sets,
Yamantau
plus free
Mountain
delivery.
Complex.
Choose a free
Acoustic
gift
Yarn,
and get
founded in 1948,
61%
is known
financing.
as the
Now
Russian
at
Roswell
Kohl's.
because of UFO sightings and
During the
advanced
Beauty
technology.
Rest President's Day
Yamantau is a
sale at
secret
Ashley.
underground facility,
Save up to
rumored to house
$1,000
deep
on
bunkers
select
or
Beauty Rest
extraterrestrial
black
research.
adjustable sets, plus free delivery,
There we
plus
go.
choose a free gift and get 60
came up
months
with that?
0% financing.
What's the
Now at
source?
Ashley.
Of what?
Of what was just said.
Oh,
I need sources. Site just
who's your
says-
source of Area 51?
Well, who gave that? Where is that? There's articles that it's referring to, and it gives you the first couple articles.
What is Russia's most elite? Russia's most elite units are the GRU Spectrum's Military Intelligence Special Forces and the FSB Alpha Group are considered Tier 1 force for their deep penetration direct action roles. Comparable to the U.S. Delta Force or SEAL Team 6, alongside the Special Operation Forces Command.
You gotta read it so the America can hear it.
What do you say?
You gotta read so America can hear it.
The USS Delta Force 13 alongside Special Operations Forces Command KSSO, the overall SOF coordination. Other top tier units include Elite VDV, Airborne and Naval Infantry Spetsnaz, plus Secretive SVR Zazon,
It's Russian.
Saison.
Saison?
Saison.
Saison? I like it as Saison.
As long as it has cream cheese on it.
Yeah, it's cream cheese and Saison. I don't know about that one. I don't think they're going.
Liz used to unroll a croissants.
Oh, croissant.
And put cream cheese in that bitch and then roll it up and then cook it in the oven.
I said Saison.
A Saison?
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I hope all you guys are having
a Caesar salad?
Seasoning.
Seasoning.
It basically means season.
For generations, the United
Saison.
All I hear is blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
It's time for.
And all I see is
wah, wah, wah.
Sunday will mark Tom Brady's 25th.
Yay! Are we gonna get the good drain or the bad drain with you today?
Wah, 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 wah. I don't know. We're gonna get the good attitude golfer or the bad attitude golfer today.
Who's golfing?
I wonder.
There's no golf.
Gentlemen and
There's no golfing. There's no crying in golf.
There's no golf and crying. There's plenty of crying in golf. I hear grown men crying every day on a golf course. Crying like little heezies. Satanic myths in Hollywood. There's no satanic myths. It's all satanic truths. All satanic truths. Shababos.
In response to
New to you. I just watched that. What can't be new to me?
Okay, here's the scoop.
Mr. President, what do you think about the UK getting into business with China? Keir Starmer is in Beijing.
Well, it's very dangerous for them to do that, and it's even more dangerous, I think, for Canada to get into business with China. Canada's not doing well. They're doing very poorly. And you can't look at China as the answer. I know China very well. I know President Xi's a friend of mine. I know him very well. But that's a big hurdle to go over when you get Canada. The first thing they're going to do is say you're not allowed to play ice hockey anymore. That's not good. Canada's not going to like that.
President Trump with a warning there to UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer on doing business with China. Starmer visiting Beijing and Shanghai last week to what he claims is restoring Britain's relationships and investments with Xi Jinping. He also secured visa-free travel for British citizens to China and a $13 billion investment by AstraZeneca to build new facilities in China.
What does that mean,
Gatestone Institute senior fellow Gordon Chang. Gordon,
You don't need a visa.
interesting development here.
So
I think
basically-
What's a visa? Visa equivalent to a passport?
That is a
Beijing
but it's
humiliated Starmer during
it's,
that visit.
basically
We saw
a
it during
temporary
the
thing.
communique in which it was very dismissive
gives you
of the
rights
British
to
Prime
work.
Minister.
Like a passport doesn't
When
give you a right
when
to work.
Starmer visited the
You know what I'm
Forbidden
saying?
City,
Just
they
gives you a
didn't
right to
clear it. He looked like an
It also
ordinary
gives you a right
tourist,
to work.
like he looked when he traveled the Shanghai waterfront. So this is something that Starmer just didn't get very much out of the Chinese. I mean, yes, they did reduce the tariff on whiskey to 5% from 10%. That probably doesn't have very much of a material effect. But it was Starmer, the one bearing gifts to China, including that investment by AstraZeneca. And by the way, it's a really bad idea for Western companies to help China improve its biotech, because we know they use that for
their weapons programs. And COVID, we should have learned what that was about. That was 7 million people outside China died from a disease, which looks like it came from a Chinese biological weapons program. And we know the Chinese deliberately spread it beyond their borders.
Well, that's incredible. I mean, look, is this a reaction to what he's facing in the United States? Is Xi Jinping thinking that he's going to get even more, opportunities in Britain with this? Give us a sense and tell the audience how you think this plays out.
I think it plays out, there's a lot of hand-wringing about Western leaders trooping over to China and bowing and scraping, which they've been doing, especially since December with Emmanuel Macron, Carney, Starmer, and Friedrich Merz, the German chancellor, is going there this month, actually. But the Chinese are going to treat them poorly. The Chinese economy is crumbling. The regime is falling out from under Xi Jinping. And so, the Chinese are going to lash out. And so eventually all of this is going to end up with the West reuniting because it will have to. But in the meantime, it doesn't look good. And I hope President Trump starts to repair relations with our traditional allies so this doesn't happen in the first place.
Well, I got to tell you, I love this one story about the Panama ports. The Trump administration, with a major national security win here against Beijing, Panama's Supreme Court ruling that Hong Kong-based C.K. Hutchinson's contract to oversee and rule those two ports along the Panama Canal is unconstitutional. This obviously opens the door for a BlackRock-led consortium to acquire those ports, which they've been trying to do, insert American control back in there, Gordon. I spoke with Victoria Coates about it yesterday from a national security advisor, and here's what she said. Watch this.
They were saying, oh, no, there's no Chinese influence. There's no problem with China. It's an economic decision. Well, no, that got reversed this week because of the sustained engagement of the Trump administration and the president himself. He knows how vital the Panama Canal is to our economy. If you want to shut us off, shut off the canal. It's intolerable that China would control those ports. And now the Panama Supreme Court has declared that contract null and void. The Danish company Maersk is going to come in, and then we'll see if BlackRock takes them over.
Do you think this opens up the opportunity for BlackRock to acquire those ports? Because we thought that they were going to be able to, but then China stopped them. I mean, China has been very effective at infiltrating ports all across the world.
The Australians may now be nationalizing that port to kick the Chinese out. Haifa in Israel, Piraeus in Greece. This is a terrible problem, and a lot of it is Hutchinson, which was a fairly benign Hong Kong-based company when they were under British rule. Now they're under CCP rule. It's become an extension of the Communist Party. They can't be trusted. They have to go.
What do you think, Gordon?
Oh, well, Panama was certainly a win, and it's attributable to the Trump administration. That case was started by activists. But we saw the Panamanian Attorney General come in on the side of the activists after President Trump made it clear that China had to leave the canal zone. So this was directly attributable to Trump administration policy.
For someone to point that out.
Well, they can trust them. It depends. If you're talking the UK versus China, it's two different levels
and
of trust.
remember, it's easy to block the canal.
UK might fucking rob you for $500 million. China's gonna fucking send soldiers in fucking buckets.
So there's a lot more
and
to
fucking
do there.
have them all pop out on you like.
And what about this shakeup in Chinese military? I mean, look, the Journal is writing this.
They've already
since
there's already
2023.
millions of Chinese, at least a million
Senior
Chinese
military
soldiers
officers and defense
here.
industry executives have been placed under
I'd say
investigation.
400,000, close to half a million from that came over the border.
Top officers in the
Yeah, I think
China
the border
Army,
jumped.
the Air Force,
While the
Navy,
border
Rocket
was
Force, the
dumping
paramilitary
400,000
police, as
people
well as
a
major
day.
theater
Or a
commands,
month,
including
I
the
should
one focused on Taiwan, Gordon. As you
Wow,
know,
4
I've
years
reported
while
in the
Biden
past
was in
that Xi Jinping
control,
has not been
the
in
border,
control of his army for some
400,000
time
people a
now.
month came over the border.
What's your take on this most recent shakeup?
It was everybody, Chinese,
This
Indian,
leaves the Chinese military in
Russian,
disarray when you take out the
doesn't
number
matter
one uniformed officer
what country
and
it
the
was.
two most senior officers
South
were
Africa,
basically the only people on the
North
Central
Africa,
Military
Somalia.
Commission with wartime experience. They were participated
Lots
in the
of Somalians been
1979
coming in
invasion
since
of
Black Hawk
Vietnam.
Down.
So the Chinese military right now has had its chain of command severed.
That's why they talk so shit about Somalia. Somalia ain't been a country since '92.
Well, I think a lot of the dismissals have been caused by Xi Jinping's adversaries getting rid of Xi Jinping's loyalists, including General Hu Weidong, who was reported to have been suicided last May. So it's just turmoil, and it's not clear that Xi Jinping is responsible for much of this turmoil, which means that Xi Jinping has indeed lost control of the military. He's now struggling to get it back. We don't know where this is at the moment, but really it is uncertain. And, your reporting was spot on in the beginning.
Wow, this is incredible. I mean, I've heard the term he's been disappeared, but suicided? Wow, this is just dangerous stuff.
Called murder.
Beijing also moving to build a space-based AI data center within the next 5 years. We've done this, the importance of space in my Fox Nation specials on space. Your thoughts on now its efforts here to build that?
Space data? Oh, fuck. So they're putting AI out in space already.
But they're behind the U.S. We're going to
see
probably this month, maybe next month, Artemis 2 launched, and it will circle the moon or fly by the moon. And we're also going to probably have a U.S. landing on the moon next year, 2028, according to NASA. China will be at least 1 or 2 years behind. The United States is well ahead in not only the race to the moon, but the more important race, which is the race for the moon, which means putting colonies at the south pole of the moon, which is the most desirable.
What's the race now? Whether we act like we can't get there again?
Elon Musk,
like it's like
because he's got
it's some kind of like it's a reverse, like we reverted, and like we don't know more than we did before.
That is critical in order to colonize.
They say nobody's been to the
for the moon, not the race to the moon, which is important.
Because
very important. And,
one, the Van Allen radiation belt.
Where satellites are, and
In fact, NASA almost admitted it. They basically admitted
we know
it.
that. Gordon,
and then people just try to be like, that's not, like, dude, it's a NASA website shit.
So it is because they don't believe it. So what happened is we pretended to go to the moon, so everybody else just stopped once we made it.
No, they say China's putting. They said right there, China's putting a base on the south pole of the moon, which is the most desirable spot. Which I don't know if that's true or not.
There's trips you gotta take, and the ones you wanna take, and with new Save Your Way, well,
the shadow's going in different directions, the numerous things wrong with the flag, the lander didn't dig a crater, you can't see any stars, it was all filmed on a soundstage by Stanley Kubrick. If any of these statements sounds familiar, then odds are you spend way too much time online and need to touch some grass. Ever since Bell Casing published his We Never Went to the Moon, America's $30 billion swindle in 1976, a small but growing number of dissenters have vehemently argued that neither Neil Armstrong nor anyone else ever stepped foot on the moon. Rather, they argue the whole Apollo program was nothing more than an elaborate Cold War hoax meant to demonstrate America's technological superiority over the Soviet Union. But as we've already covered in exhaustive detail in our previous video, How Do We Actually Know We Landed on the Moon?, every single one of the popular arguments put forward by Casing and individuals in the aftermath has been thoroughly debunked. For some examples we've just listed extremely briefly, the shadows are deflected by terrain, the flag had a metal rod along its top edge to keep it deployed. Due to the moon's low gravity, the lunar module descent engine did not need to be powerful enough to dig a crater, and the exposure on the astronauts' cameras was set to photograph the bright lunar surface, meaning the faint stars didn't register on the film, something you can try out for yourself with your own camera here on Earth if you like.
You know what's really funny is when they landed, they said, looks like an American desert.
Or using your own eyeballs, look at a bright light, and then go outside to look at the stars and see how few you can see at first. Wait a little bit for the eye aperture to adjust, and all of a sudden the stars appear. And while yes, Stanley Kubrick did direct the moon landings, as everyone knows, he was such a perfectionist that he insisted on filming on location. Yet among all the arguments against the feasibility of manned lunar landings, one stands out among the rest, even among regular, non-terminally online people: the Van Allen radiation belts. These regions, located between 640 to 58,000 kilometers or 400 to 36,000 miles above the Earth's surface, are filled with high-energy electrons, protons, and other subatomic particles emitted by the sun and trapped by the Earth's magnetic field. According to conspiracy theorists, the radiation in these belts is too intense for humans to survive, making space travel outside of low Earth orbit impossible. But is it actually true? Have the moon landing conspiracy people finally scored a fatal blow against NASA and the 400,000 or so people who worked on the Apollo missions? Does this one single data point negate the literally hundreds of thousands of other confirmations we have during the Apollo missions and countless more since? Well, no, of course not. But this wouldn't be a very convincing or interesting video if we stopped there. And in truth, it's a great question and has a super interesting answer with a lot of interesting things to learn along the way. So how did the Apollo astronauts survive crossing such a dangerous region of outer space? Well, slip into your spacesuit, pull on your lead-lined underwear, maybe not in that order, unless you want to look like Superman, as we blast off in search of the answer to how the brilliant engineers and scientists working on all of this solved this problem. Just before we get back to how humans survive going through the Van Allen belts, would you like to increase the odds of your surviving going through, well, life as long as possible? Then getting in great shape is statistically a great way to do that, and today's sponsor, Aviron, has got you covered in a fun way, utilizing all the psychological tricks that game designers use to keep you gaming and leveling up your digital character, but instead helping you level up yourself in real life. For those unfamiliar, Aviron is pioneering fitness entertainment from their award-winning rower and bike to now the world's first gamified treadmill, which also features an industry-leading ultra-low 4-inch impact-absorbing CloudStrike deck. On the gaming front, Aviron has hundreds of games built in to eliminate boredom while you level up your strength, endurance, and health points. Otherwise like doing sitting on the couch things but want to make it productive? How about watching various streaming services from Netflix to YouTube and beyond on their built-in 22-inch screen? You could even learn about the Van Allen belts in this video right now while on a run, leveling up your mind and body in one. Prefer a scenic run that does not include Simon or Maya's face? Aviron's got you covered there too, with tons of scenic locations from around the world to enjoy. They've also got on-demand classes, friend or community competitions where you can dominate not just others, but also your past self with their time machine feature. Just something infinitely satisfying about pushing to be able to do something today you could not do yesterday. Bottom line, one of the single most important things you can do for your long-term happiness, quality of life, and possibly even length of life is get in and stay in shape. Aviron helps you do that utilizing all manner of psychological tricks to keep you on track with your fitness goals in an enjoyable way. So if leveling up your most important character in yourself is on your goal list, Aviron has their best prices of the year on right now, and you can also get an additional
did a lot
50
of fucking talking and didn't say shit.
magnetic lines of the largest CME on record, the Carrying Physics of Geomagnetic Storm, responsible for the formation of the northern spiraling around magnetic lines of force to form a large donut-shaped cloud. He hypothesized, correctly as it turned out, that a similar phenomenon was responsible for the formation of the northern and southern lights, which are most intense at the poles where the Earth's magnetic lines of force converge. Based on Birkeland's findings, French mathematician Henri Poincaré and later Norwegian mathematician Frederick Karl Stormer developed rudimentary mathematical models for such magnetically trapped particles, but neither was able to fully predict their behavior due to its inherently chaotic nature. When, in the 1910s, cosmic rays, charged particles descending from outer space, were discovered by, among others, Austrian-American physicist Victor Hess, Birkeland's observations were found to closely model their behavior as well. At the exact same time, other scientists were trying to work out the physics of geomagnetic storms, disruptions to the Earth's magnetic field caused by coronal mass ejections, or CMEs, giant discharges of plasma from the sun's corona. Such events are extremely hazardous to electronics, both on the Earth's surface and in outer space, meaning it is extraordinarily lucky that the largest CME on record, the Carrington event, occurred all the way back in September of 1859. But while the world's electrical infrastructure at the time was, to say the least, minimal, the Carrington event did induce massive electrical currents in the newly laid transatlantic telegraph cable, sparking numerous fires and even electrocuting telegraph operators at both ends. Further evidence, as ever, that the glowing orb in the sky is bent on our destruction and we should always stay indoors, safely hidden away from its murderous gaze. Closer to the present day, on March the 13th, 1989, a large geomagnetic storm knocked out the electrical grid in Quebec, Canada for 9 hours and triggered bright aurora as far south as Texas. Thankfully, however, no permanent damage was done, though it is only a matter of time before another massive geomagnetic storm strikes, with potentially dire consequences if you weren't worried about enough things right now. In any case, it was not until 1957 that American physicist Siegfried Singer theorized that the charged particles released by coronal mass ejections could become trapped in belts formed by the Earth's magnetic field, producing the effects observed during geomagnetic storms. His theory was to be confirmed just the following year by the scientist central to our story, James Van Allen. Born on September the 7th, 1914, on a farm near Mount Pleasant, Iowa, Van Allen initially tried to join the U.S. Navy, but was rejected on account of flat feet, poor eyesight, and his inability to swim. His dreams of glory on the high seas dashed, he instead studied nuclear physics at the Carnegie Institution in Washington, D.C., obtaining his Ph.D. in 1939. During the Second World War,
the inability to swim
National
would kind of
Defense
deter
Research
my
Committee, or
ass.
NDRC, and later the Applied Physics Laboratory, or APL, at Johns Hopkins University on proximity fuses, tiny radar fuses fitted inside artillery shells that allow them to detonate when they pass within a certain distance of their target. One of the greatest technological achievements of the Second World War, alongside the cavity magnetron and the atomic bomb, proximity fuses greatly enhanced the effectiveness of anti-aircraft fire and were vital in defending the U.S. Navy Pacific Fleet against Japanese kamikaze attacks in the final months of the conflict. Indeed, in November of 1942, Van Allen was commissioned as a U.S. Navy lieutenant and posted aboard a succession of destroyers to conduct field tests of the fuses and instruct gunnery officers on their use. After the war, Van Allen returned to civilian research at the APL, turning his attention to the study of high-altitude atmospheric and cosmic phenomena. In December of 1947, he was appointed chairman of the V2 Upper Atmosphere Panel, later the Upper Atmosphere Rocket Research Panel. This organization converted captured German V2 ballistic missiles into sounding rockets for upper atmospheric research, launching them from White Sands Missile Range in New Mexico. While dozens of such rockets were launched between 1946 and 1952, returning valuable data and placing both the first living creatures, fruit flies, and the first mammal, a rhesus monkey named Albert II, into space, the converted missiles were unreliable and expensive to build and launch.
So
As a result, Van Allen commissioned the Aerojet Company of Rancho Cordova, California, to develop a smaller, cheaper sounding rocket for civilian use. Modified from the pre-existing WAC, Corporal, and Bumblebee missiles, both developed using U.S. Navy funds, the resulting rocket, the Aerobee, first flew on March 5th, 1948, and quickly became a go-to vehicle for high-altitude research. And to learn more about the fascinating history of sounding rockets, why not check out a whole lecture on the topic over on Our Own Devices, the personal channel of this video's author, the Professor Gilles Messier. In March 1949, an Aerobee launching U.S. Navy research vessel, USS Norton Sound, Van Allen, along with Fred Singer, Commander Lee Lewis, and Commander G. Halverson, devised a method for making sounding rockets even cheaper by launching them from high altitude.
It's the second cousin removed.
They charmingly dubbed the following year, Van Allen left
the fact that you don't believe that is weird.
Head of physics at the University of Iowa. There, along with his students, he developed the first practical raccoons, comprising 3-meter-long multi-sounding rockets suspended from helium balloons and rigged to launch at an altitude of 16,000 meters, or 1,960 Ariana Grandes. While these contraptions worked well, there were widespread concerns that the spent rocket stages would fall onto houses and other structures and inflict damages. So,
it's called cashing in.
Launches Raccoon, Icebreaker, USCGC East Wind during their cruise to Greenland. So Greenland is not Iowa, it turns out, and up in the Arctic, Van Allen ran into some unexpected technical difficulties, as Time Magazine later reported. The first balloon rose properly to 70,000 feet, but the rocket hanging under it did not fire. The second Raccoon behaved in the same maddening way. On the theory that the extreme cold and high altitude might have stopped the clockwork supposed to ignite the rockets, Van
James
Allen heated
Jones?
cans
Yeah.
of orange juice,
On this
smuggled him
Yeah.
into the third raccoon's gondola, and wrapped the whole business in insulation. The rocket fired. Many more launches followed over the next few years, with the rockets being fitted with ionization chambers and Geiger-Muller tubes to detect cosmic radiation. On one 1953 expedition carried out by the Coast Guard icebreaker USCGC Staten Island, these instruments detected a large region of concentrated soft radiation, charged particles, and low-energy X-ray photons at altitudes above 60,000 meters or 200,000 feet.
Hey, just said nothing.
As Van Allen later wrote,
nothing.
I went and scooped his ass up from the only place I
Free agency?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh.
Right here. Here it is.
Right there.
The power to save lives is within you.
Nice.
Donate plasma and get paid for your time.
What's his hands in here? Catching. CTH.
We are headed 3,600 miles above Earth. 15 times higher from the planet than the International Space Station.
Hey, that's nice.
That's a good pickup.
As we get further away from Earth, we'll pass through the Van Allen belts, an area of dangerous radiation. Radiation like this can harm the guidance systems, onboard computers, or other electronics on Orion. Naturally, we have to pass through this danger zone twice, once up and once back. But Orion has protection. Shielding will be put to the test as the vehicle cuts through the waves of radiation. But Orion has protection. Shielding will be put to the test as the vehicle cuts through the waves of radiation.
But Orion has protection. Shielding will be put to the test as the vehicle cuts through the waves of radiation.
Sensors aboard will record radiation levels for scientists to study. We must solve these challenges before we send people through this region of space. We must solve these challenges before we send people through this region of space.
We must solve these challenges before we send people through this region of space. For this flight, it's time to head home.
More than Graham and him.
Yeah.
6'7". This is 6'5". It's a big dude.
Big dude.
What's his speed?
He's a big one.
76 is his speed. I think his catching is going to be good. Just didn't notice. His catch is higher than Zach Wilson's.
Oh, yeah.
His catch is 82.
Yeah.
Space weather can be as unpredictable as the weather.
What's RTE? No, it's carrying. No, that's catching. Catching's hard. His route running is better than Luke Wilson's.
The Earth is surrounded by donut-shaped rings called the Van Allen belts,
His
which are
catching
filled with
traffic
high
is better.
He's a starter. Right?
His spectacular catch is
What?
better. What's better? Beat presses. His jumping is better.
You're not going to take that away from me.
How did they survive the Van Allen radiation belt?
You're not taking that away. They went to the moon, Billy. Sorry.
Were you even old enough to watch it on TV?
I actually was there at the launch for Apollo 11. Yes, I was. And I remember it taking off. You're not going to take that away from me.
You're a liar.
How did they survive the Van Allen radiation belt?
You're not taking that away. You're not.
I have no idea what I'm going to say, so let's just look at it.
Okay, no, that's fine. Okay. So, how could we have gone to the moon if radiation from the Van Allen belt would have
So
killed
funny how he
everybody?
says, I don't know what I'm going to say.
The way that I like to think about it is similar to walking across burning hot coals. If you spend a very little amount of time touching those burning hot coals, you can walk across them with no pain and no injury. The same is true with these Van Allen belts. The astronauts in the Apollo mission are traveling around 25,000 miles per hour as they leave Earth's orbit and head towards the moon.
Cool.
The Van Allen belts only stretch for a few Earth radii away from the surface of the Earth. That means that the astronauts actually travel very quickly through the Van Allen belts and through this harmful radiation. So even when passing through here, the astronauts are experiencing about 20 times less than the lethal hourly dosage of radiation. And this isn't even including all of the radiation shielding that's built into the spaceship itself.
Cool.
In less than a month, NASA will launch the first mission that sends humans toward the moon in more than 50 years.
Very
And despite
nice.
how incredible that sounds,
That is
many
9
people
seconds
still don't
left
really
in the
know
first
what
half, too. I like that. That's double whammy.
I could have got a pick 6 if you were left in 10 seconds, though.
Next time I'll be 11. Just
cool. What do we got?
Every 4 years, the world pauses.
The world pauses for pizza. Oh.
everything keeps dying on other. Another one, you know, one dying and another one isn't.
Okay, you tell me. Am I just being conspiracy minded here? Am I being too paranoid? Do these symbols and designs always have hidden meanings as they arrive at the exact same time as other things arrive on the scene? Because I'm really starting to wonder here. And again, maybe it's just me, but it seems like the gaslighting coming out of the Trump administration is way off the charts. When asked, is the public going to learn about men that abuse these girls? The answer coming out of the Trump administration was, I don't understand what that means.
You said this is the end of the Epstein, of your review of the Epstein files. So, just to clarify, is the public going to learn the identities of the men who abused the girls with the information that you're releasing? And if not, why not? And then I have a quick follow-up.
You just baked in an assumption into your question that I have never said and I don't know to be true. Is the public going to learn about men that abuse these girls? And what does that mean? I don't understand what that means.
What do you mean, what does that mean? What are we talking about here? What's the main focus of the Epstein files? Why are so many people so adamant about the release of these files? Because a grave injustice has been done to seemingly a large number of children, and we want people brought to justice. The people who committed these crimes against these children should be punished. Don't you think they should be punished for abusing
Right,
kids?
right. But
How do you not understand what that means?
I understand it. See
Well,
it
I mean,
let's see it happen.
the
Let's see it happen.
abused the young
That's
girl
right.
and threw
Well, it
them
is gonna
Not to the-
happen, but we're
not to the-
We said in July, and it remains as true today as it was in July. If we had information, we meaning the Department of Justice, about men who abused women, we would prosecute them, right? We talked about the work that we're doing. That's why I said that. I said this earlier.
If you had
Well,
information.
tell me how.
Can I just remind you that Kash Patel said, and I quote, "There's no credible information that Jeffrey Epstein trafficked minors." And you guys, your department, just the other day dumped 3 million plus documents testifying to the fact that, yeah, Jeffrey Epstein trafficked minors. And now you're saying what?
There's this built-in assumption that somehow there's this hidden tranche of information of men that we know about that we're covering up or that we're choosing not to prosecute. That is not the case. I don't know
whether there are men out there that abuse these women. If we learn about information and evidence that allows us to prosecute them, you better believe we will. But I don't think that the public or you all are going to uncover men within the Epstein files that abuse women, unfortunately.
And that is about as smug a face as you could possibly get. Jeffrey Epstein would be pleased. Did you catch what Donald Trump said aboard $220,000 an hour Air Force One the other day?
Well, they should be, because it looked like this guy Wolf was a writer, was conspiring with Epstein to do harm to me. And I didn't see it myself, but I was told by some very important people that not only does it absolve me, it's the opposite of what people were hoping, the radical left.
Sure, but they were.
Wolf was a third-rate
There was a lot of
writer,
people
was
that was hoping
conspiring
that
with
Trump was
Jeffrey
going to be on
Epstein.
that shit. But
From what I've heard so far, his name is there like 300 times. But what I heard, people at C-Record, well, they're saying
And maybe the Epstein estate, I
he's
guess,
not
I
going to
don't
continue
know,
any
certainly
crimes. But
you may, I
other
guess so,
people
because he was conspiring with Wolf
somewhat
to do harm to people.
say that
That's not a friend.
Sounds to me like Donald Trump doesn't know the difference between the word absolve and involved, because he is definitely involved in the Epstein files.
Disney Plus, Hulu, and HBO Max together for $19.99 a month. Fascinating.
Okay, you tell me, am I...
Guy Wolf was a writer, was conspiring with Epstein politically or otherwise. That's not a friend.
Sounds to me like Donald Trump doesn't know the difference between the word absolve and involve, because he is definitely involved in the Epstein files. But try to tell that to a MAGA Kool-Aid drinker, and you're going to be hitting
he
a
looks
brick
like he's
wall.
about to be
like
over.
some of the stuff that they redacted in the Epstein files, it makes no sense. This right here is to Jeffrey Epstein, an email to the man himself.
I thought he's about to be
give
running
you
through
permission
traffic.
to kill him. He
Right.
is
Yeah, all of a sudden
apparently
all of a
with
sudden he gets
I didn't
blank.
think he was about to be
He
open.
lied to you and he lied to me. Sent from my iPhone. Sent from
about to be in
who?
traffic.
And who are they plotting to
There's
kill?
no flow
And
there.
why would this be redacted?
You have to break out left
Is the
and
U.S.
run with
government
them.
actually
And wait for them
engaged
to break
in
out open.
hiding
That's
and
what I would've done.
protecting murderers and
I'd have
people who
broke out
plot
left with
murder?
them.
Does this foster trust in the current administration?
Dude starts getting
Check out
mauled
what
right
partisan
here.
hack Representative
And
Anna
gets mauled
Paulina
the entire,
Luna said today. What was
the entire
released by
fucking
the
time.
DOJ regarding
across the
Epstein is
middle.
deeply disturbing. This is
Basically-
why
basically
good
contact,
people
bam.
must
First
actively
contact.
engage in and
Right
be
there,
involved
bam.
in politics and government.
And then
As you
bam,
are
and then more-
seeing,
and then more
politics
contact
is
there,
a
ball
dirty
still in my
game
fucking
and
hand.
tends to attract the worst types of people. If you throw up your hands and give up, you
the pass was
are
completed.
the problem.
If
So
you're
trying to
Luna
watch-
is actually saying
I'm
that
trying-
other
I'm
people
trying to
must
watch more than
actively
one person.
engage in the dirty game of politics, the same dirty game of politics that attracts the worst type of people. And if you, as a good person, don't involve yourself in that dirty game with those corrupt, evil people, then you are the problem. How does this make any sense? Why not just flush the system down the toilet? Why would we involve ourselves in and become a part of the mafia so that we could change the mafia from within? That makes about as much sense as saying, I'm going to do away with the internal combustion engine by being a part of the machine. I think I'll be a piston so that I can end the engine's life. It ain't going to happen. It has never happened. You cannot change it from within, because when
40
people
yards,
go inside, they become just as corrupted as Joe Biden, Barack Obama, Anna Paulina Luna, Donald Trump, and everybody who's been corrupted by the dirty game and evil people involved in politics. This is how stupid they think we are. This guy says some of our church ladies at the new movie Melania that includes my prayer for the president and first lady. To which I say,
half a
good
second
job,
earlier.
ladies.
But he would
Because
have been
this right here
punched, he
is
would have been hit
totally
hard,
not
probably would
a
tackle,
demoralizing
lost her-
hive mind.
That's what is my
slave.
glass. I don't have my glasses on.
Speaking of hive mind, there aren't still a crazy amount of people out there supporting Dan Von Brokeback, is there? And since we really need to cover psychological operations,
Who's that?
doesn't this seem
Minaj?
like one of those hypocritical psychological operations where Team MAGA is trying so
this just
desperately
proves to me
to
everything.
get conservatives to
telling you,
follow
dude,
a new role
Republicans
model
are the
that
right wing,
really kind of
Democrats
threw
are the left wing.
morality out the
Same
window?
beast. 7 heads, 10
Come
horns.
on. It is not a WWE dog and pony show.
Right, that's a-
political
isn't that-
psyop
if that's not a
designed to
pu- if that's not a
hoodwink the
puppet right
Kool-Aid
there,
drinking, unthinking masses.
But no, it gets worse
Right?
than that. Dude. Worse than that.
She like go.
Listen what she's saying.
Nikki
She's
has
talking
been
about fuck
an
Melania.
unbelievable supporter. She's been
She hated
MAGA.
Trump. Now
What can I
says
say?
she's
She's
Trump.
been with us all the way.
To stroke your motherfucking ego. Well, fuck you, nigga.
We're not going to let them get away with bullying him and, the smear campaigns. It's not going to work. Okay?
That's a her.
They're all in on it together. They're all in on it
God
together.
is protecting him.
What they're doing that to the ones that like her. To everybody that thinks Trump is some, that thinks Nikki is some, that thinks anybody is
Makes a
anything,
lot of money. And I
is
just
a
think she's
fucking
great.
clown.
And over the
You're
years,
a
she's been a
fucking
Trump supporter,
like
or
you
a
said.
Trump fan, and Nikki
That's,
has
if
been
you're a fan of
an
somebody,
unbelievable
this is what you are.
supporter.
think
She's
she's
been such a
great.
great supporter. She's so good.
They're all in on it.
She's
dude.
been.
It's all a
she's
show.
been MAGA.
They're all
What
part
can
of
I
it.
say? She's
They're all,
been with us
they're all
all the
getting
way.
fucked
She's been
in the
with
ass.
us all the way.
And then they follow the
I
script.
am
It's all scripted.
probably the president's #1 fan. And that's not going to
I'm gonna
change.
prove it.
Oh, I totally believe you. It's totally not going to change until it changes. And we will have expected the change. Because it's...
Yeah. You remember George Carlin, right?
Absolutely.
It's a big club and you ain't in it. You know what that club is about? Fucking
We have
people in
no
your
regard
ass.
for the masses. Satanism is a religion for the elite.
Eating
It is a
baby
religion
shit
for
out of their
leaders. It's a
intestines
religion
after
for
they get
confident
out.
people.
To
It's
their
not a
asshole.
religion for anyone who wants to be a Satanist. We don't say, well,
The homeless, the handicapped, those with
I don't
multiple
care.
sclerosis
I don't
do not
want the
apply.
homeless, the handicapped.
The
That's
people
your
in Mother
job.
Teresa's
Satanism is a religion for the elite. The elite. It is a religion for leaders. Leaders. Satanism is a religion for the elite. The elite. It is a religion for leaders. Leaders. It's a
And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast.
Is
These
this
have
new?
one mind,
Yeah.
and shall
I was gonna
give their
say, yeah, 'cause
power and
now
strength unto the
all
beast.
these other faces are on
These
there.
shall make war with the Lamb,
Bill Gates.
and the Lamb shall overcome them. For he is Lord of lords and King of kings. And they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. And he saith unto me, The waters which thou sawest where the whore sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. For God hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree, and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of God shall be fulfilled.
They'll get it. They'll get it all from you sooner or later. They own this place. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. It's a big club,
and you ain't in it.
Thank you to Satan for giving me inspiration on how to play this role.
First of all, I'd like to thank Satan. I'd like to thank Louis Armstrong. I'd like to thank Neil Young.
And it took me to my adult
I watched
years
this one.
leaving
You
home
had
where I
this one on.
really try on something different for
So
myself.
how far though?
That was Satanism.
I don't remember. I might have watched the whole damn thing.
You couldn't have.
It's different if you are exposing the enemy because your mind,
I'm
your
almost
spirit,
certain. Oh, I
and
know
your
we
heart
watched that.
Well, then
are
you would
in
have heard
agreement to
them
come
talk
against
about
the
where
enemy
they're
and expose the enemy.
the shit of
Just like
kids.
prophets
Lord
would
of Flies.
call out these false gods and expose them to the false prophets, even saying the name Baal, but they were doing it as a declaration of war. You see, this was a area where the Most High God allowed it. But when people are saying these phrases in demon god names on a daily and weekly basis, without a shadow of a doubt, it is having a tragic and horrible impact on their lives. And while
So
we're
what
on the
offense did we
topic,
get today, Kevin?
we might as well talk about the idioms
Offense.
of hell. After all,
You know what
haven't we
offense.
exposed this
Same
ancient hellfire club that is clearly still going on to this
Why
very
was
day?
it changed?
Think
before
of
or
all the
something?
ways
No.
hell has been introduced to the English language in such a disrespectful way that curses people, that not only mocks the
You
judgment
got
of
the
God,
best offense.
but
that's it.
also
You got
shows
the
him
good offense.
they
I
don't
guess.
care. How many of you have been
The one that
guilty
swings
of the
and hits the
idiom,
ball.
what the hell? Like someone says, what the hell is going on?
Dad, what the hell are you doing?
Or even over in England, they'll say, oh, bloody hell.
Hey, Homer!
What the bloody hell?
Bloody hell.
Or if something has humor to it, they'll say, oh, that was funny as hell. Or he came in like a bat out of hell. And who could forget the very word hello? I mean, imagine greeting people with a word that literally starts off with hell in it. Or in reverse, oh hell. And who could forget the brainwashing of millions of people on a daily basis that use the idiom phrase, hell yeah. I mean, I've literally preached the gospel to people and asked them if they believe in Jesus, and they say, hell yeah. Hell yeah, I do. And I let them know. Let me ask you a question. On the day of judgment, do you think hell yeah is something you will say? You know, yes to hell? I don't think so. You see, brothers and sisters, this is how deep this satanic rabbit hole goes. And this is exactly why I had to take the time to break this down to you. And when you really start to think about it, being
Cold as
that
hell.
the word of God warns us that not only is life and death in the
Hell of
power
a
of the
day.
tongue, and it also goes into greater details in the book of James concerning the tongue, but it makes you wonder, in this witch language of Mystery Babylon,
Hell hath no
when not
fury.
just certain words themselves that derive from witchcraft or the occult, but also the confusion of the language itself. And when you add in the homophones and the
Cash that shit in.
idioms,
It's called cashing shit
My
in,
question
kids.
is
Dude, I was gonna. I ran 4 times in a row. Oh,
that you
and
can
then
literally
I had a run.
bad
I'm looking
things
at that
that
shit.
go
Then I
on in
switched it to
people's
all
lives,
verticals. Then I
to
put
the
I put
language
curse
and the
running a
idioms
slant.
that they have
So
been
whatever
brainwashed
he ran that
as a
slant, and I fucking
demonic
trusted he
habit
was gonna
to
fucking.
say on a daily basis. Think about it. People
Yeah,
that
'cause it
say,
stretches out
I'm
the
sick and
defense.
tired all
So
the
it
time.
gives you a lot of space
Do they
underneath.
seem healthy? This is how you know English is the witch language of Mystery Babylon. There are so
Mystery
many
Babylon.
phrases and idioms that are designed to curse people by speaking death or violence over themselves.
You're making history, Nope. I like that. Sticking your neck out.
No, I didn't stick my neck out. It was an accident.
Idioms that have to do with either violence, tragedy, or death. I wonder what their lives are like and what the community is like. I mean, think of the English culture as a means to violence or war. Could the idioms in the witch language of Mystery Babylon be one of the driving forces on why America has been at war most of its existence in one shape or the other. And not only with other nations and countries, but within communities and neighborhoods, whether it's gang violence, and the list goes on. These curse words that are spoken all day long that seem like innocent phrases, but yet come from the witch language of Mystery Babylon.
Well, yeah, right.
And they're created for a reason.
You stole my
and a
interception right out
purpose.
of my hand.
You see what I'm saying? You think of all the people that say idioms that have to do with hell.
3-0, you know Canadian beer's like moonshine.
Hell yes.
Hell yes.
More than likely, they do not fear the Lord. There's a mocking spirit within them. Because if they're willing to speak idioms of hell all day long and take it so lightly, as if it's somewhere that doesn't exist, imagine the damage it does to their faith in God, creating a unbelief that hell is even real to begin with. I mean, if you think about it, it's diabolically genius. And I'm not saying that in admiration, but it's a fact that clearly this witchcraft language has been working.
If there's some you ever saw, give me a hell yeah. What?
Look around you. Pinpoint the communities, neighborhoods, nations, or people. See what's going on in their lives. And then listen to the way they speak. And see if any of the English words or phrases coming out of their mouth have anything to do with the problems, tragedies, and issues they're going through. You see what I'm saying? It's very easy to associate this witch language and these demonic idioms to the actions and character of the people in the midst of it. For example, did you know the #1 song that was played during the war in Iraq by U.S. soldiers was "Let the Bodies Hit the Floor," which in reality is an idiom. But even growing up in the streets, I remember certain words that we learned that are actually idioms, and I can't even begin to go into that in detail. That'll take over an hour. But some of them, many of you have heard in the hip-hop industry as well.
Thank you.
Like catching a body, which literally means to murder somebody. Or I'm about to crash out. Again, you can see the English language mutate into different directions, creating more witch language, more spells, more idioms to curse the masses. So if hip-hop is the dominant music in the streets, and this witch language is being used, you know, English, with the idioms that are created, what do you think it does to the community? But listen, for some of you that still are struggling to believe that there is power in the tongue, and maybe you need a scripture as well. Did you know that in Genesis chapter 30, Jacob's wife, Rachel, was overwhelmed by envy of her sister Leah because she was not able to have a child at that time? Did you know she literally said to her husband Jacob, "Give me children or else I will die"? And Jacob responded to her in anger. But I want to show you something. Just a few chapters down the road, as Jacob's wife Rachel is giving birth, as she was finally pregnant with a child, she literally dies giving birth. Do you see it? She spoke death over herself. That's why it's important that you make sure you do the prayer with me at the end of this documentary.
Yeah, be
Because
careful
I
with
can
what he's talking
guarantee
about right
most
there,
people
because,
listening to the sound
I gotta
of
look
Christ
that up
in
and
my
fit the
voice
name of
right
it, but
now
there's,
has
text-
said at least one time
if
in
you
their
listen, that's
life,
a pagan
I wish I
thing
was
that they're
dead.
talking about
Especially
your word,
when
you
we
can
were
speak
young,
shit into
frustrated,
existence.
and angry at life. speaking that death over ourselves.
How the hell did you get the? Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
it isn't just idiom phrases, but also songs. I can't look. I don't even have the time to get into that. We got to keep it moving to the bigger picture in this documentary. But remember the ring around the rosy, pocket full of posy, ashes, ashes. We all fall down, and songs like that, they're literally curses of death. Remember. The devil knows that life and death are in the power of your tongue. Why do you think when the rich man was burning in hell and he cried out for Abraham to give him water, the first thing he wanted water for was his tongue? And you probably thinking, hold on, this guy is burning in complete agony, so many different body parts, but why was his tongue the number one body part? He wanted to get water on first.
Like that. Well, the dude, I swear, I was watching dude, and he came in like he was coming in, and he dropped
and
fucking
listen,
back.
later on in the documentary, I do want to go over 2 or 3 more subjects when it comes to idioms that you're gonna see as we connect the dots. But I'll leave it right there. We gotta continue down this road. I did warn you that we are about to expose Hollyweird. So if you can't handle it, you probably want to stop here. Because this is definitely for spiritual, mature audiences only.
Dude, he knows what he's talking about when it comes to a lot of shit.
Get your lamps. Make sure
Obviously,
there's oil.
nobody's perfect, you know.
And let's take a walk.
I catch him on some stuff, you know. But dude presents a lot of good
Honestly, all y'all motherfuckers going to hell. Right with me. So, let's get it. Oh, you already here. I'm so sorry.
Oh, in his ass.
Their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt.
Which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt.
Now, before we strike the head of the principality that governs over Hollywood and the industry, this demonic entity that is worshipped by the elite, those in power that are disgusting, satanic, perverted weirdos that have been filled with the mind and appetite of the god of perversion. We must first investigate the deeply rooted spiritual kingdom that governs over the United States. The scripture you just heard is from the book of Revelation concerning the end of days. And if you've already watched part 1 of the documentary series, The Witch Language of Mystery Babylon, then you already know why the spirit of Sodom and Egypt are unified. But let's connect the dots together. But the first question that we have to ask, to help us identify this principality that governs over the industry,
got too many
known as the god of
time to practice
perversion.
some different plays and shit.
The question we have to ask is why is there such a strange fascination when it comes to Egypt
when you're up by
in
4
America?
touchdowns?
I'm not against it.
I mean, after all, there is the pyramid with the all-seeing eye
Damn, look at that.
on the
He
seal
look like
of the dollar bill.
He ready to go
But
hit
let's
Taco.
continue to connect these dots. But the next place that leads us to is
I might
Freemasonry,
I might go get
the
this
real founders
membership at this
of America.
that place that has a hot
But
tub.
once again, there is a deeply rooted
And it has a basketball court, I
fascination
guess, and
with this spirit of Egypt.
That's why I like watching you play D-Man.
Master Egyptian. The French name is Maître Égyptien, a degree in the archives of the Mother Lodge of the Philosophic Scottish Rite.
Journey yet again. Greater abominations than these. He brought thee into the inner court of the Lord's house, and behold, the door of the temple of the Lord, between the porch and the walls, were about 25 men, with their backs toward the temple of the Lord, and their faces toward the east, and they worship the sun toward the east.
Go, baby, go. How many? 100 yards? 100? No, 105. 110.
He brought me into the inner court of the Lord's house, and behold, at the door of the temple of the Lord, between the porch and the altar, were about 25 men, with their backs toward the temple of the Lord, and their faces toward the east, and they worship the sun toward the east.
Yeah. For the life of me. That was satanic. I shouldn't have said that. Are the dots starting to connect yet? Let us continue.
I mean, after all, there are multiple obelisks within the United States
You know
of
what an obelisk
America.
is? No. A
You
penis.
have the famous one
It's the image
in
of a
Washington,
penis.
D.C., near the U.S. Capitol.
Symbolic of a penis.
But did you know about Cleopatra's Needle in New York City in Central Park? And there are others as well. But what about Memphis, Tennessee? That just so happened to be named after Memphis, Egypt. And both of them just so happen to be right next to great rivers. But did you know that Memphis, Tennessee
And they still only got
has
6
its own giant pyramid?
Destroyed.
I wonder if the CEO there
Destroyed.
is a Freemason.
Is that
But did you
considered
know
penis?
that there
No,
is
so
also a
it's a titty?
colossal statue
No.
of Ramses II
No, it's
from
the- it's the
Memphis,
tip, though, it's the
Egypt,
eye.
that was delivered and placed at the campus of the University of Memphis, Tennessee. Did you know
I
that?
believe they do the same. I believe.
And did you know
they
that
do
in
the
Memphis,
same
their zoo
rituals in
is
both
themed
the obelisk
after
and the
Memphis,
pyramid.
Egypt? I mean, why would America go out of their way on so many different levels
So yeah,
to
it's
pay
probably the
homage
tip of the penis.
to Egypt?
Is what it is.
I mean, let's keep it real. What is this fascination?
I believe, you know,
Almost
honestly, I
a
wonder
bowing of the knee
if
to
that's
the
not a
spirit
giant fucking obelisk
of
in the
Egypt.
ground.
But remember, the
Because
book
what
of
I've come across
Revelation
is I
made
believe
it
that
clear
they're actually they
that
are energy
the
points.
spirit of Egypt and the spirit of Sodom
Check this out.
hold hands. They are together.
I'm gonna come back. I'll come back right to this. I am Crystal.
Beastmasters? That movie Beastmaster on here? Can you watch
Probably.
Flavor wins championship. When game day is on the line,
You ever heard
don't
of
spike it,
Beastmaster?
slice it. No bubbles, all
That's
flavor.
that's
Sauce like a champion.
Ain't that the second of the He-Man?
Flavor Town, it is different.
Could be. I mean,
That was like the second movie.
could be. Where?
That's right.
They don't
Hey,
have
we'll
awards
say
on
like
this
you
one.
get that
Or
fixed
the
any
new
way you want.
updated version. They're supposedly they're coming out with a new Masters of the Universe
Slow
right now.
windshield. Get it fixed any way you want with Safe Life.
20 years delayed.
Coach, agents.
A Bose Mobile expert really delivered and set up my new phone while I'm on the job.
Everything is set up and running for you.
You made this.
There's no fucking like, oh, player of the week or anything like that in this one. It's just not there. This isn't that one. It wasn't the last one. It's just not.
Check this out. This is what I believe they were doing in the obelisk and the pyramids.
Pick and Save always gives you more ways to save, like low prices in every aisle. Plus, you can clip and save more with
Through the black ring. Let the doorway between the dimensions be open. Into this earthly sphere, great Seth, if I may hear your commands.
For thousands of years, I have waited for these stars to fall. My liberation is now at hand.
How is this possible, Magnificent One?
The stars are made of the same metal as the Black Ring. Behold. You must build me 7 great pyramids with a disc of star metal atop each one. Only then can you forever release me from the abyss. Only then can you make me free. Free to enslave the earth at last. Do not fail me.
Now look at that's what they were doing right here when he says, "And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the children of men builded. And the Lord said, Behold, the people is one; they have all one language, and this they begin to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not." That's what they were doing. They were calling up the spirits of the fallen angels with with whatever technology they had figured out, with space metal or whatever they had, and it might have been saved from pre-flood. You know, like Ham or his wife might have saved it in their, in their belongings or something. They loaded it onto the ship, whatever it was. You know, because you got to think, he's talking about, he says fallen star metal, right? Well, a fallen star is a fallen angel. What the metal is that the DNA? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? What is the metal? You know, is DNA? Is it technology? Is it metal? Is it glass? Is it stone? You know, I think it's like a jewel or something.
I've been watching X-Files.
Yeah.
Recently, just started watching this series. Saw a channel, 24-hour channel. Then all of a
Almost
sudden,
a
the channel went under
spirit.
maintenance and wasn't playing no more. So I went and I found that shit.
Oh yeah.
The whole series, you know what I'm saying? It started at 1. And
I used to watch that all the time when I was a kid.
hell yeah!
And when I was at my dad's on weekend visits and shit, that shit would come on brand new.
Yeah.
Friday nights or something, I think it was. Thursday or Friday nights.
Some shit.
No, I think it was Friday. And we fucking get all nestled in the fucking pull-out couch and fucking...
X-Files, Mulder and Scully.
Mulder and Scully. Them two motherfuckers, they're fun. See how they talk? They got that funny way of talking, right? Like investigators. But they're cool about it. They're not all like retired. Like where you watch CSI, like there's that one dumb motherfucker that works with that one bitch. That Marissa bitch.
There's a few CSIs.
Well, the one that he works with, that Marissa bitch. But that dude's a fucking idiot. I can't stand hearing dude talk. Dude talks like a fucking idiot. Dude, I want to show me where that motherfucker is, dog. I'm taking him out, nigga. What the fuck his name is? Dude's a fucking retard, dog. And then I can't stand cop shows because they always show the cop like roughing somebody up. Like, nigga, first off, you are going way further overbound.
That's funny. That's all, you're right. That's all those cop shows. That's all incriminating evidence against you, punk ass motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly.
Acting like.
And they go way more overboard than it is in real life.
They go overboard. They go overboard more then than they probably would if they did. They wouldn't do cops no more.
But I don't know, dude. I see them go. Don't you watch Cops now? They got like live cops now and shit.
No,
dog. They still be going crazy on motherfuckers. Like, how the fuck you guys watching this shit, not thinking there's something wrong with this?
Of Egypt. But remember, the book of Revelation made it clear that
Egypt is symbolic of the world.
Of Egypt and the spirit of Sodom hold hands.
So it's
they
an
are
Antichrist
together.
spirit.
And just because there is a specific location mentioned within that verse doesn't mean this kingdom has not stretched forth its hands.
22.
You understand? But did you also know that America has its own
Yep. Dude, and slavery's still illegal.
as
I
well
don't know
as
why this doesn't seem like the same.
You know that?
This doesn't
Alexandria?
seem like the same.
I'm sure
schedule.
most of you know
Slavery's still
Did we
illegal.
play Cincinnati
both of
last year?
those names
You
are
sure?
from Egypt. And let's not forget about the Luxor Hotel in Las Vegas. You know, Sin City. They even have a replica of the Great Sphinx. But here's the
It's
problem.
not the same size.
So many
is
people
it?
talk about
I don't think so.
where these
I'm not
occult power objects are in the United
I'm not
States.
sure.
They even talk about who
Because that thing looked very small compared to
behind
the
these
pyramid that was
things.
behind
I've
it.
never been near either
But
of them, so I couldn't
you
really tell
barely hear people talk about
Yeah.
the why. Why do they name places after Egypt and
How
ship
tall
things
is
from
the
the land
Sphinx?
of Egypt to America and build pyramids?
The Great Sphinx of Giza is about 66 feet or 20 meters tall from its base to the top of its head.
That's how tall
That's
is the one?
6 stories. That's 6
Yeah,
fucking
66.
stories.
Yeah, it's exactly 6 stories.
Mm.
So you got to give it an extra foot per story. You
Yeah.
know, pretty close. Now, how tall is the one in Vegas?
Oh, I got you. How tall is the Giza replica in Vegas?
The Sphinx.
Yeah. How
The
tall?
Sphinx replica at the Luxor Hotel in Las Vegas is about 110 feet tall, which is 34 meters.
That's
It's much
pyramid,
larger than
probably.
the original Sphinx of Giza,
Yeah,
standing
yeah,
at
yeah.
60.
Oh, so yeah, 60.
To measure height,
How-
use a measuring tape or a
Yeah,
stadiometer.
just say it again. The Sphinx.
How tall is the replica Sphinx in Las Vegas?
The replica Sphinx in Las Vegas, in front of the Luxor Hotel, stands at 110 feet, which is about 3.5 meters. It's designed to be a
bigger.
welcoming guardian
Huh?
and is much
It's
taller
bigger.
than the original Sphinx of Giza.
And look at isn't that pyramid that was behind that motherfucker? It was huge. And then-
Ask what that height is now. The pyramid.
what's the height of the pyramid that's behind the replica Sphinx in Las Vegas?
You should have just said replica great.
The Luxor
pyramid.
Hotel Pyramid in Las Vegas, located behind its Sphinx replica, is approximately 350 to 365 feet, or 106.7 to 111 meters tall. It is also 30 stories high.
Look
Wait,
at
how tall?
30 stories.
No, the feet. 30 feet.
300?
300 feet.
This is what it looks like from this angle, though. From the angle that we saw.
It looks small.
Right.
How so now? 300 what?
300 feet.
300
365 feet.
Now look up the real one.
The real
How tall
one.
is the Great Pyramid in Egypt?
350 to 365 feet. How tall is the Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt?
The Great Pyramid of Giza was originally about 146.6 meters tall, but now, due to erosion and the loss of its outer stones, it is roughly 138.8 meters tall.
What's that in feet?
481 feet tall.
So it's shorter.
When constructed,
100
now
feet.
it's saying it's 450.
So it's short by 100 feet.
That one and the one in Las Vegas, yes.
It's still huge.
That's huge.
What's the smallest pyramid at the Great Pyramids of Giza?
What is the smallest size of the 3 pyramids in Giza in Egypt?
The smallest of the 3 main pyramids at Giza is the Pyramid of Menkaure. It was originally about 65 meters tall, with a base of around 102 to 108.5 meters. Due to damage, it is currently about 61 meters high.
So the middle one, what's the middle? What's the middle one?
61 meters is how many feet?
It's three. It's hold on. It's 35 feet.
Oh, 35 feet. Oh. 65 meters.
Oh, 120, 180 feet.
Rough. It's 213. It's roughly 70. It's roughly double.
So it's like 3.5 feet per meter.
Right. 2.5.
It's 2.5 feet per meter.
I guess, yes.
Well, how's it bigger?
213 feet.
And I said 180.
It's a little bit bigger. It's a little bit bigger. But no, your first, yeah.
I based that on, I said 1800, based on it'd be 330. Huh. So what's the middle size one? How tall is that one?
How tall is the middle size of the three pyramids of Giza?
The Pyramid of Khafre, the middle-sized Giza pyramid, was originally 143.5 meters tall. Due to casing loss, it currently stands at 136 meters.
448 feet. That's bigger than that pyramid in Las
How big
Vegas.
was the big one? 480? 420? So that's like the same size as the other one.
They're roughly.
But dude, that's a big. If those are anodes or cathodes, you know what an anode or cathode is? It's for like a welder. You know, you got a welding. One's an anode, one's a cathode. You know, that's if you're using two. One,
Yeah.
You know, two ends. Any electrical connection, you know, one's anode. But that's funny.
Pyramids to mimic Egypt in America. Even the spirit of slavery from Egypt was manifested in America. We'll save that for another video, Lord willing.
I wish somebody was.
But the
I wish there was
question
something in that picture.
It's not just where or who,
relativity.
but why.
You know
What is the
I'm saying?
driving force
Right.
behind all
can relate
this?
to.
Right.
Because when you start to look at the industry,
person,
Hollywood,
just a person.
so many
standing
cartoons, TV shows, and movies that propagate this spirit of Egypt and Sodom.
Just a cartoon.
I remember the movie The Mummy and Scorpion King with The Rock. There was a song that went crazy viral in the 80s called Walk Like an Egyptian. But I remember being introduced to Outkast in that song Aliens or AT-Aliens. But their music video was a promotion of the spirit of Egypt. I'm sure some of you remember Katy Perry's video
When I see
all
that
about
one,
dark magic
dude,
and
that's what really
Egyptology.
started had me looking more and more into
And
the
who could forget
connection
when
between
Kanye
music
West
and
had a very
what was
large
going on
gold
spiritually.
chain representing Horus.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Falcon
And
Head.
even recently,
Falcon Head.
live streamer Speed seemed to have paid homage to the Egyptian gods while making his way through all the different countries within the beautiful land of Africa.
Okay.
So you was a
God of
god?
mercy? Yes. God Sekhmet. The God of war.
Children, gods. Children, gods.
Whoa.
But how many of
Said
you
they got eyes
remember
and
the
they don't
popular
see.
drink
Hands, they don't see 'em.
Sobe? S-O-B-E. I want you to watch this commercial,
Sobe.
and we'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
What's up, bro? Train a lizard. Right. Sweet.
Hey,
Bye.
tastes great.
Yeah.
Feels even better.
Wow.
Man, I think you're trying too hard. So be yourself.
I want to show you how crafty Mystery Babylon is when pushing paganism and idolatry onto the masses while they blindly have no clue. What if I told you that in ancient Egypt, one of the false gods, who's really the demon principality, goes by the name of Sobek, and he is reptilian in his pictures.
Reptile.
Do you see the connection? They released a drink in America.
Oh, yeah, I'm trying to find a picture of that.
Sobe,
Yeah.
almost
Somebody
the exact
with
same
something
name,
with
only missing the K.
some
And they
standing.
had
Go
a
look at
reptilian for their
Pyramid
logo,
Tours and then look
just
images.
like Sobek is reptilian. I told you, these Luciferians are not playing games, and they want to try to drown as many as they can in the cesspool of Mystery Babylon. And this is why I'm telling you, English is the witch language of Mystery Babylon in the end of days. The dominant language in the world. A Frankenstein of many languages wrapped into one.
Yeah, that's
But yet,
Hall of Kings.
I'm preaching the word of God to you
of Kings or something.
in the very language I'm exposing. That is to demonstrate the power and authority of the Almighty Son of God. You know, the Word of God, who became flesh and dwelt among us. He has dominion and authority over every language, whether they are more pure and favored languages like Aramaic, all the way down to pagan languages. Every knee will bow, even the linguistic knees of Mystery Babylon. But now that I have exposed just enough to help you connect the dots and see how serious this spirit of Egypt and Sodom is within this country, now we can go to the next level on why. Who is this principality? Ultimately, it's Satan. He goes by many names, but there is a specific title, character, and appetite that he has pushed into society through Hollywood and the industry. I want you to watch this recap video from the previous documentary, and we'll be right back.
Sinister aspects of magic towards the darker aspects, primarily because it gives them either a precarious thrill or an excuse for their own sexual abnormalities.
We wanted to question Bray about his publication, The Lamp of Thoth, which has carried want ads for dead bodies, articles advocating sacrificial murder, and is the platform for Michael Aquino's new British recruiting drive. Bray called the police to hold us at bay.
Mr. Bray, we'd like to talk to you about the business you conduct and about the kinds of activities you promote. We'd like to talk to you about articles promoting murder, witchcraft, advertisements calling for dead bodies. There are many people who get into this disgusting business who wouldn't do so without you, Mr. Bray.
One ex-Satanist now lectures nationally on what she calls the doorway to danger.
Maybe because you're curious. There may be some of you wondering what doorway to danger is all about.
Audrey Harper says she was once a prisoner of fear, a recruiting agent for a coven which practiced child abuse and human sacrifice.
I think it's a far bigger problem. I think we're only touching the tip of it. When you realise that all these places are self-governing, they can do what they like. They attract homosexuals, they attract lesbians, they attract paedophiles because they can get away with it.
Touchdown.
Because the covenant means of
America
succeeding.
agrees.
Even the satanic temples are secret. They can shift around. If they think they've been rumbled, they just go to another building. So it is a big problem.
It's a big
But are we talking about just a few people in isolated parts of the country?
No, we're not. We're talking, it is nationwide.
In a year-long investigation, we've catalogued more than a score of recent serious cases with clear evidence of satanic ritual,
who has
abuse,
counseled
or crime.
victims.
Some of the
However,
victims
his
being
real-life
counseled
testimonies
by the
of
Reverend
witnesses
Kevin Logan.
have gone through it to him.
In counselling, I have seen some terrible practices. I've heard some really grueling, really nasty things that have happened to youngsters, to children at puberty, for instance. A girl having to have sex on the altar, the act of initiation into Satanism itself. Children having to eat feces and to drink blood. Stomach-churning, horrible things that these Satanists get up to.
He's been a Satanist for 20 years and will now head the Temple of Set in Britain on behalf of the Aquinos. But in San Francisco, we discovered that Michael Aquino is not all he seems. For a start, he's a lieutenant colonel in the US Army and a specialist in psychological warfare, holding a top-secret military security clearance.
For a start, he's a lieutenant colonel in the US Army and a specialist in psychological warfare, holding a top-secret military security clearance.
Army investigators here at the Presidio base in San Francisco have now formally accused him of ritually abusing young children from the base's daycare center. Indeed, one young girl says she was horribly abused by both Michael and Lilith Aquino at their nearby home.
Now remember, I told you, moving forward, this would be for mature, spiritually mature audience only. Because I ain't got time for games.
Oh, failure.
These are men, women, and little children that have been victimized by this satanic cult, by this hellfire club. You understand? And we have to talk about a few things. Number one is to remember that Michael Aquino is the founder of the Temple of Set and said that the devil appeared to him and told him to start this special branch off of Satanism because he wanted his ancient name.
That's it for the game for him.
That he was called in Egypt, that we now know is Set, to have a special mission. And in reality, it was more within the industry to those in high places. These children had detailed testimonies, even describing this wicked man's home that he took them into to do the wicked things that he did, but yet he got away scot-free. There's another idiom for you. And not only did he get away with it, he was given an honorable discharge.
Again? That's right. They
But this was no ordinary person. He was a lieutenant that was at a level so high he had top secret clearance in the Department of Psychological Operations. And I told you earlier, do you think it is a coincidence that in the show Stranger Things, there was military involved and psychological operations? We'll get into that a little bit later. But now we got to get straight to it
Reviewing that
and deal with the reality of what this really is. But before I go any further,
I've seen
I want
ours.
to remind you that in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 8, you can read that on your own time, where the Most High God commanded the prophet to look through a hole in the wall and behold all the wickedness and the abominations that were being committed in secret places. The reason I brought that scripture up is because the prophet would not turn around and accuse Christ of trying to get him to look at something evil, abominable, heinous. No, he was commanded to see what was going on as a warrior, not just a prophet.
That was a warrior
So he
move,
could
right?
understand
Father's
the
head
wrath of
stand
God
up.
and warn as many as possible
They go
about the
hard.
judgment of Christ. Do you understand? So when I'm showing you these things, it's like you're looking through the hole in the wall, like the prophet Ezekiel, beholding all the abominations and the evil things that they don't want you to know about. But it's too late.
Stand strong.
Because you're watching this video only because of the grace of His Majesty, Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ of Nazareth.
Yeshua.
But what was revealed in part 1 of this documentary series, The Witch Language of Mystery Babylon, was it not revealed that Set would be the chosen name that would be used the most within the English language? We've already established that, right? And we've already gone over in Exodus 23:13 that we're not supposed to utter or speak the names of other gods. But yet, this name, Set, is spoken on a daily and weekly basis by most people. They don't go a day without using that word at least once on average.
Yeah.
What word?
Set.
Set.
But yet, it was revealed in part 1 that Set sexually assaulted and sodomized his brother Horus. I want you to let that sink in. This is the appetite of Satan in the title and character of the Egyptian god Set. But why did he do it? Remember, I showed you that Horus wanted to receive power from Set. He needed something from Set, and in return, Set sodomized Horus. But what did it say? He wanted to humiliate Horus and have power over him by rupturing his life force. Now listen, Horus is not a good guy. These are all false gods. But we are focusing on the character that will bring all these pieces together for the question, why? Why these Luciferians do what they do. So if the devil, through the title and name of Set, operates through sodomy to have power over others and to humiliate them and break them, is this not the same exact thing that we have heard over and over again in the industry and Hollywood? People that were either manipulated, intimidated, or dominated
I guess you got 21 seconds.
to submit
Coverage.
to
You know what I'm
these
saying?
wicked abominations within the industry. You know, the casting
James
couch.
Jones.
Let's watch a few videos.
I saw
And
him
we'll
on
be
there.
right
I saw
back.
him. I saw him. How
Who
you
knows
probably would.
Who knows what he had to do in order to get to where he was at. There's a lot of things that people do that end up sitting and they can't get over it. And they got to keep getting high, hoping to get it out of their head, you know. But when you lose your man card, that's the only thing I can think of. You lose your damn man card.
What is that? What do you mean by that?
You give up your ability, your right to being a man. A man don't take it, a man gives it. So when you give up that man card, you don't get that back.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
No, I'm saying what I'm saying. You don't get that back. You come into this world as a man one time. You give up that right for anything, for fear of being hurt, fear of somebody doing something, for wanting to gain something. When you give up that man card right, you lose some spiritual energy that has always been pushing through. Like if a woman gives up her womanly right of being a mother and taking care of her family and do all those things, when you give up those things, but when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the puffy party. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing.
That happened to me, I just don't even want to speak on it, you know what I'm saying? Some days, those girls next to me woke up, some days, he was in the bed. I would wake up feeling sore, still not understanding exactly what's, you know what I'm saying, transpiring.
Then the real Hollywood came. And I'll tell you what, I'll let you in on a little something. I'm not going to drop names. Okay. But I'll never forget, these are black producers. A guy named Kevin Brown and Andre Brown. And he was later on 30 Rock. But they would come to us and they would tell us about vanity and losing your mind in Hollywood and be careful. And they came back from Hollywood to try and expand us. And they sat us down and like, you ain't gonna believe what we saw. I'm like, what'd you see? And they said, we saw so-and-so, huge name, so-and-so, huge name,
the 47 yard.
and so-and-so, big name back in the day.
I made a 44 just
chicken hawking at a party. And I went, what? See, you're white. I said, what's chicken hawking? Everyone laughed. He's white. He don't know chicken hawking. I said, what's chicken hawking? That's when you hanging out with boys that are transvestites. I went, what?
House girl.
Now you tell stories.
So it's a
talk to me when you're kicking over 50.
I never forgot that. 3 years later, this name.
50. Better than 52.
It's almost 50.
That one's sick. This one,
Yeah,
bing,
but it makes a difference.
busted. Yeah.
Did it hit the crossbar?
They swept that up. That's what I
Yeah,
call.
I want to see you make a 55 yarder.
It's a big
then
dark
holla.
It's 50,
mafia. And
47.
then what happens is, I remember
It's
one
47
time it was
and a
like,
half, too.
the mobsters come, they're like, we understand. Not mobsters like Italians.
Right.
Whatever,
We're talking
whatever
about,
you
yeah,
can.
the attorneys, yeah.
Right? They come along like
Really,
this.
you only
and
get credit
sign
for-
this,
you only
some
get
movies
credit
there,
for
we put the soul on the table, we got enough money to make this go away.
I get it. I
Bang!
know.
It's gone. No one ever brings it up.
Yeah, if we're talking about
no
like,
one ever brings it
uh,
up.
if you're talking about,
And there's two or
right,
three
if you're talking
huge.
about a professional kicker in NFL,
No, I'm talking
we're
about
talking about.
I guess what I'm saying is, by the time
But it's not
Expected
easy to
Senate
keep it
Live,
straight, but it's
Pepe
not
go
exactly all that hard either.
and TV thing, Tim Allen, all this shit, it was. That's when I really saw how dark and so it's just it was dark. It's I get creeped out. I get scared to death. It was soulless.
Yeah.
I told you earlier, these just figures study the Bible and choose their call. What is sad though is the fact there are some watching right now who don't believe what I'm saying about Mr. Rabbi. We study. Maybe these YouTube clips will help you to accept the truth.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here tonight, as all of us are, to pay tribute to an American icon, an actor, a filmmaker, and truly one of my personal heroes, Mr. Clint Eastwood. I'm also here because the AFI is paying me $20,003, making me the highest paid megalomaniacal boy king in all of Babylon.
Thank you.
It tastes so good together, those two.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here tonight.
Good evening, godless sodomites. I'm bringing the food down. We're in Hollywood, the belly of the beast.
You can't just read the prompter.
I'm reading the prompter in here. You can read that, Pablo.
Award show banter is not pablum. Reality television celebrates the human condition.
What's funny? I picked up a tight end.
By illuminating.
And our tight end get hurt. I picked up a quarterback, and our
It
quarterback.
warps the minds of our children and weakens the resolve of our allies.
Remember, this is called Sitting on the Square. And the truth to deceptive evil. That's why I say usually when someone's joking around.
The results are often dramatic and always unexpected. We're here to honor achievement in that category.
By giving you a